Hello and welcome back to the Arsenal Editor podcast, where today me and Rory will be going through the game where we lost 1-0 to Liverpool. Unfortunately, we're at Anfield. We'll be going through man of the match, dick of the day, and of course, your questions. So, Rory, shall we sack Arteta now?
No. Although I'd love to know the percentage of fans who were leaning more towards that way, given some of the stuff that's been written on social media. But yeah, I've calmed down a little bit. I was a little bit heated, I think, last night. But I'm more composed now in my views. But you were at the game.
I was.
How was it?
It was great. Obviously, the result was not what we wanted, but as a good friend of mine from Worcester once told me, never let the football ruin a good day at the football. So, look, train went up. It was great.
Great saying.
I have to say, yeah, it is good. I mean, particularly when you do lose, you needed to whip that out. But I have to say, I think the people of Liverpool were awesome. I have to say that it really reminds you that Twitter rivalries really are Twitter, and it is just I'm sure a load of bots and people who hide behind a profile picture and stuff. We were walking around the Arsenal. We were in a Liverpool pub beforehand, and they were quality, man. There was a lot of smiles and taking the mick out of each other for us copying their songs and them having got them from elsewhere, and they were great. And walk around the stadium, it was always second again, Lele, and we were singing stuff to them. It was all good. And I have to say the atmosphere was fizzing.
How's the stadium?
Stadium's great, yeah. I mean, I have to say, I think it's one of those things with Anfield. It's you build it up so much in your head. Mm-hmm. When you go and see a good film and all you've heard about how good it is. And I've never been there before. And then you go there and it was good. I.e., the first 5 minutes were great. But then, and we'll go into this, it's just the way we played, I think, was very much to do with the atmosphere and just stifling. Mm-hmm. And I think it worked. And then the only time it then really, really picked up was probably from the 60th minute for a bit. And then after Slobosly scored onwards, it was electric. Mm-hmm. But we were really good as fans. I think it was pretty good. I think we were largely quite encouraged for the first half, and a lot of the encouragement second half came from Eze warming up in front of us rather than what was happening on the pitch. So, how did it look on TV? I mean, let's go into what were your feelings with the lineup? Let's start with that because I think that's a line of contention.
Yeah, lineup was. I'm not gonna lie, I felt a little flat when the lineup came out.
You felt sick, be honest.
Well, yeah, there was a bit of sick, but we had spoken so much about previously. We'd done posts, for instance, in terms of what lineups we'd like to see. Every lineup, I think, had either Ethan in it or Eze starting, or even Trossard potentially. But in my head, even though it kind of makes sense looking back at it now, I never really thought that we would go with a midfield of Marino, Zubi, Mendy, and Rice. I thought that given how Liverpool had let in 4 goals in the previous 2 games, and there being a lot of space in those 2 games, that we would try and exploit that, and to go in with those 3 that don't really give much creativity, as someone like Ethan or Eze. I know that Eze has obviously just come in, so that it's very rare that Arteta will just throw him in a game of this magnitude. But when we're trying to cater to Gyökeres, who is a player who likes to play in behind, who likes being played in behind, and we've got players like Ethan who will thrive in space, particularly in the middle of the park. Liverpool who will give us that space. It was a little underwhelming. I'm not going to lie. What was the reaction like when it came out with the fans there?
Pretty mixed. I think. It wouldn't have been the first 11 I'd picked, but I also completely understood it and was behind it. And I think it played out. For example, had Havertz been fit, I think he would have started. This was a Havertz game.
Yep, I agree.
And that's nothing against Gyökeres. It's just the size of the occasion, the fact that he's new. Mm-hmm. I think stylistically, this is what Havertz is good at. So I think that was it. But I think that's why Gyökeres played, and I think he made some really good runs. But like you say, didn't quite have the talent behind to didn't have number 10. But I also thought that was fine because really what we had was 3 very strong midfielders to dominate in midfield. We had some very attacking fullbacks, so they're the ones pushing up. So everything was in the width. Then we had 2 very strong runners in theory, in Martinelli and Madueke.
Yep.
And then that left Gyökeres through the middle, who's also a very strong runner, right? So I got it. I really got it. And I also think what's really important to think about now, particularly with the quality of our squad, is right. Okay, that's how we're going to start. How are we going to finish? So it was very clear, and actually did pan out, that we stopped Liverpool doing anything. We didn't create too much ourselves, but I think we put ourselves in a really good position. I don't remember last year we went 2-0 down very quickly, and I think Anfield is its own beast, and I'm really happy to compartmentalize that. Arteta has set an unprecedented level of success against the big teams over the past. He's had 23 games against them, the last 23 games, I should say. Been unbeaten, won 14. Setting up with a strong midfield and some strong runners to set up for the first 60, 55 minutes or so, good idea. And then bringing on the talent and really try and making something exciting where you've got not only a foothold, maybe even be up in the game. He left it way too late. And I think that's a problem that we've seen with him before. And that's where I started to criticise. I saw two teams that were being very cautious there. I think both were very worried. I think all of the gaps that we know Liverpool had, they also exploited of other teams. So I think there's a reason why both happened in those games, because I think Liverpool are happy to pull forward, knowing they can score a lot, but also they'll concede at the back. And I think we were both just as cautious of each other. I don't think either team was in it, really. I think it was one swing of the boot. But
the stats are pretty bland.
They're bland, but if anything, we had more of it. With more touches in their boxes, more passes in the final thirds, more shot, all the boring stuff. It's not important. Like, they scored, but the point is, it was a nitty gritty game where we had the better of, and they scored the winning goal, and which was a 35-yard screamer. And I don't know how you.
Do you think though? You know how? I mean, I think there is this massive. There's obviously a very big mystique about Anfield. We've experienced it when. Do you remember when we went? We were winning 2 years ago, quite late on in the season, and then I think Trent. There was something with
2-0 up.
We're 2-0 up, and then Trent and Jack exactly, and that whipped up the crowd, and then they came back into the game and they scored. There's obviously videos of Arteta playing "You Never Walk Alone" on the transfer field, on the training field and stuff like that. So I just wonder whether we gave Liverpool too much respect from the start, from the lineup, and didn't go for it. Because I honestly think that we have, if you take into account how Liverpool had played at the beginning of the season, I think we could have won this game. And I think it was, for me, there's a very big part of me that thinks that it's a massive, massive opportunity missed, because not only are you playing them when they are a little shaky, they've got a lot of new people coming in, so do we, but they're now going to get stronger with Isak and potentially Guehi. If that goes through, we don't know yet, but that looks like it might collapse. But
updates as we go.
It was a great time to play them. It would have laid down a real marker. It would have put a lot of the narrative that is now flying around to bed. And I think it would have given us a lot of confidence. But for me, it just feels like we didn't really give ourselves as much of a chance as we should have done. And we didn't play into our... We didn't, for the pieces we had, the style of play that we were playing didn't give us a chance, or didn't give us enough of a chance to potentially score a goal. Because we, if as I say, if we had some more creativity and we'd been able to exploit the space that was there, it was definitely there, then it may have been a different outcome.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think for something like this, the manager earns his money by feeling the heat of the moment and being able to change a plan.
Yeah.
And I think, look, it depends how you watch football, right? I think both people could be completely right here. I personally think a cautious first half and being able to stifle the crowd is really important in a way big game, whether it's Anfield, whether it's Old Trafford, whether it's, the Etihad, wherever it may be. I think Newcastle, I would rather shut the crowd up at the start. It almost feel like a European away game. I think that's a really good method, and then being able to feel the game and see what you need to do. It was very obvious. Half time was brilliant. I've never felt less threat from Liverpool and a crowd. It was brilliant. In terms of feeling it, at no point was I scared of Liverpool, and I thought, brilliant. Just like you're saying, they're for the taking. Let's go for the jugular. Half-time sub, let's get Eze on, because Martinelli was really having a poor game. And we were still getting the better of them. So I thought, this is just a perfect time for Eze. I completely understand not starting him. I would have done it, I think, but I also get the logic. It's fine. I really do get that. of not starting him. So I can definitely see both sides, but I personally think it's sort of somewhere in the middle, and we just need to be able to be more brave in reading a game early and going, right, we've set this up, we're doing okay. They're quite scared. We've shut the crowd up. Jugular. I don't think. But
you're still leaving it to for them not to score a goal, which they have. You know, I think the stat was they've almost gone a year playing at Anfield with scoring a goal. So if we go 1-0 down early, well, you know, we go to 1-0 down in the first half without midfield and the lack of creativity. I mean, slim chance. Well, there's a slimmer chance of getting back in the game, rather than playing, you know, an Eze or an Ethan in midfield. So
it's true, and I get that.
It just felt like we were putting a lot of pressure on our defence to not concede and to come away from Anfield with a clean sheet, which is, you know, hasn't been done. Well, you know, it hasn't been done in a year, and we didn't give it. As I say, we just didn't give ourselves the best chance of putting the ball in the back of the net on the other end. So I didn't think, though. It's a weird feeling because I didn't come away from the game thinking that Liverpool were going to win the league. If that makes sense.
No, I mean they've signed Isak since.
Well, that is true, but
what happens with Grahy. But I had the same feeling last season though. And
I know.
They have a way, and this is where I'm almost trying to educate myself and trying to think of it as a squad, not a team.
Yeah.
And we couldn't really do that last year because the squad was so thin. And I'm like, okay, you know, like, do you remember Eddie Jones in England Rugby? And people might not be listening to England Rugby, but I don't know, I'm a big fan. And Eddie Jones was a real big fan of the finishers. Or we talked about the bomb squad, South African rugby team, right?
Yeah.
And I really think there's a value in having to beat us twice, or a team having to withstand almost two teams against us.
Yeah.
And I think having an Arsenal, quite literally, pardon the pun, an Arsenal of different players in different systems that you can just whip out like a Swiss Army knife. I think that's a really, really strong and powerful tool. If Arteta went for the jugular from kickoff and was like, we're going to start Eze and Nwaneri instead of Martinelli and Marino, and we'd have got caught on the break twice. Because let's not forget what Liverpool's biggest strength is, and we have seen in the last two games. It is fast breakaway football, and if we play into that, and don't get me wrong, we could go 1-0 up, but I think we could also go 3-0 down. I think that's a real worry
for sure.
And that's where, and look, I think both sides could be absolutely right, and it's one of those that we only have what happened to base it on.
For sure.
We didn't see the other side. And actually, if you look at Arteta's record against the big sides, the scoring against big sides and winning against big sides and getting points with big sides is not an issue for us. We've done really well there. All the stuff about being too cautious, I think, is completely valid, but against mid-table and low-table teams. I don't think it's valid against the big teams where we largely do really well.
No, I think we can still... I think you're saying that if we play a more creative player, then there's the risk of it turning into more of a ping pong match, which we saw against United.
Yeah, if it turns into ping pong, we lose that game.
I agree, but I still think with Rice and Zubimendi, you can ask them to stay deeper. But it means that when you break, because we broke a lot, but we just didn't have someone running down the middle who can play that ball in. Behind Gyökeres, which we saw. Well, actually, we didn't see it because Martinelli didn't play that pass in. So
that's it, and he was running. I mean, look, let's go there because I think we could talk all day about the setup, which I think basically there's two camps, and I don't think both are wrong or both right. I think they both have merits, and
sure.
I basically am fine with Arteta having gone with the decision and stuck with it, and it largely playing out, basically, because it did for the first. Well, they didn't score to the 80th minute, did they? But really, in the 60th minute, Liverpool changed and we didn't. And they, even really from the second half, they made their tweaks, which, you know, you can listen to some of the social media sort of blurbs about how Arsenal are too cautious and all this sort of stuff. You need to do this in bigger games, but you only need to listen to the intelligent guy in Arnie Slot and what he said. And he was saying after the game, that we completely had them in the first half and actually beginning of the second. They made a few tactical tweaks. I can't quite remember, something about the press and something that, to be honest, I'm not intelligent enough to understand. Because this is it. This is the level of punditry, isn't it? It's like you hear oh, they're too cautious. It's like, well, if you listen to the intelligent guy, the Liverpool manager, he's now saying, well, actually, no, they did do us, and their game plan was really good. We changed things up, and it changed the game.
Yep.
Arteta didn't change the game until the 70th minute. That was the problem. I think he needed to read the atmosphere, read the room, read that we were all over them, read they were going for the jugular, change things up, bring an attacking it, and get the goal that we needed. He didn't do that, and I think that was where he let us down.
Which is a big criticism of him, which is not bringing people on quick enough, and game management sometimes, because he can just leave it way too late. Part of that's been because the squad has been so thin in the past. We don't have the players on the bench to change up the game. But I think now there's no excuse. There's absolutely no excuse. So we'll see. We'll see how he does. But I don't think 20 minutes or 25 minutes for Eze and Odegaard is really enough, because Eze touched the ball, even though he had a very good chance, and we'll get onto that.
I'd love to.
It's not enough time to influence the game.
And it was strange, isn't it? Because again, we have talked about that as an issue, and I would like to see that change massively, particularly with the squad he's got now. But it's not the even reading of the game, not even reading of the atmosphere, but it was like objectively Martinelli's having a shocker here. And I love the kid to pieces. And he did some amazing defensive actions, which we know he can do, which is why I think he was started in the first place.
Yep.
But going forward and seeing that we had the space, seeing we had all those breakaways, and seeing that we were pinning them back, it was just so obvious. And I get that we didn't start Eze. I really do. Like, I think we sort of had him in our teams, but
it makes sense.
I get the argument.
But we also
had.
We also had Martinelli a lot in our teams.
We did. We both had them to start in our team.
Yeah.
Because we put Eze central.
Well, it's also because he defensively he'll be very good against Salah, and he also has a knack of scoring against Liverpool.
Exactly.
Which is, as an intangible, it's invaluable. So
well, let's talk about Martinelli then, because one of the things I'm worried about is he's always been a very emotionally connected guy to the club, and that's always been a really real positive. But I do think there is some negative feeling about Martinelli that I'm sure he's feeling and reading all this and that. And ultimately, he's 23 now. He's on 180k a week, and it's just one of those. It's like we are looking for that second place to first place, and that's a position that just needs to deliver a bit more. And I wonder if, do you think that emotional connection is actually playing out for the worse now?
It's tricky. I've been listening to a few things, and stylistically, I'm just not sure that the way we play is going to get the best out of him. I don't think a Mikel Arteta system is potentially built for him currently. He's obviously very low on confidence. He seems like a player who is second guessing every decision that he makes and is trying to force his way back into form, and it's not really working. The problem is that you have Szoboszlai, who's not a right back, and this game should have been perfectly tailored for him, for someone who's playing direct, going at a defender who doesn't really play there. And Szoboszlai was man of the match even before his free kick. So I think that says a lot. It really does. Yeah. And that's the issue. And
there's no way he should have been.
I mean, not at all.
He was good.
He was amazing. He was amazing. And it's an issue now because it's been highlighted, and everyone will now point the magnifying glass at him, and every mistake he makes now there'll be questions, and he'll read about it in the comments, and he'll hear about it on the news. So it's not going to get easier. I just think he needs to build up his confidence by being taken out of the team, play in the Carabao Cup, play in the FA Cup. I don't think we'll see him in the starting lineup again in the Premier League for a while, unless we get injuries.
I think if anything that's come out of this game is that Eze will start every game.
For sure.
Now that he's had his bedding in, which didn't take long at all.
The thing is with that was interesting, even though it was only 20 minutes, was that two completely different types of wingers.
Yeah.
Eze will like to drift in, and I noticed that even when Eze was on, when he was playing, he would come very short or towards the halfway line to collect the ball. We wouldn't see that with Martinelli. I'm not sure whether that will be a problem in the future, because it just clogs up space, and we need an outlet on that left hand side, and we don't really have. Calafiori now is turning more. It's turning more into a overlapping wing back, as opposed to someone like Lewis Skelly, who would just come into midfield. So it's going to be interesting to see how that works. But I thought for a 20-minute cameo, just moving on to Eze, I thought he looked sharp, positive, different.
It was night and day, wasn't it?
Yeah, it really was.
Yeah, it was. It was funny. It was the Eze song was pumping all day, and
yeah, I can imagine.
The minute he started warming up, it was loud. It was right next to us, and his face. Honestly, he was like a kid at Christmas. He could not hold his smile in. And it was really lovely, like genuinely, and everyone was calling his name, and he just looked at us. It was just like a cheeky smile. He didn't like clap or anything, but he knew, and obviously he just looked like a little boy when he came on, just so happy, right? And that was really nice. And the wing that he was on was down our side, and some of the play it was the directness of touch and like right, we're going in. That's what we're doing. Bang, and he'll follow the ball and he'll make a run, and he was just making things happen. And he was on the pitch the whole time, and he did have that one chance where I haven't seen it back. I'm going to assume it wasn't a penalty because I actually haven't. I don't really know.
No,
but
it was just
I just don't know why he didn't shoot. Like, was he able to?
He was. He was. It was. He. I think I can't. To be honest, I was watching the highlights today. I actually wasn't on it weirdly, but there was a mistake. Eze ran onto it. Eze running into the box. Cauious was behind him slightly. Cauious pulled on his shoulder a tiny bit, but not enough to win a penalty.
Right.
And I think Eze in his mind thought that more was coming because he also had someone else, a defender, coming across him as well in front of him. So I think that he thought that he might get more of a shove or more of a pull or something. But I don't know. You could tell he was stuck in two minds.
Right. Okay.
But he obviously should have shot.
Yeah.
And Arteta said that in his press conference, which was quite interesting as well.
I didn't mind that, to be fair. It didn't seem...
No, I don't think...
I think what Arteta was basically going is, we did actually have our chances, but...
Yeah. But it was just a funny comment. For a player who's obviously new to the team, but he should have. The angle was tight, but he should have hit the pulled the trigger.
Shows you what he can bring. You get the positions he gets himself into, and so look, Eze is just someone that it justifies every single thought, every single excitement that we've had about it. Like he was.
The attention he's going to pull away from other players as well is going to be amazing. Exactly.
Well, and
Odegaard as well, and Gyökeres.
Noni.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but I mean, he was brilliant.
Yeah, he was. He was.
It was really surreal. Every time he got the ball, it was a given that he was just going to pass the player, but it didn't happen every time. But it wasn't can he get past him? It's like, okay, well, when he gets past him, and I was really impressed. And look, some of the final ball wasn't quite good, and they had a good shot that was deflected. And this is some of the frustrations that I know Chelsea had. But like, if we do have more creative players and we are piling people forward, I think that's exactly the player we need.
100%.
I loved it. I really, really
100%.
loved it. It felt, don't get me wrong, he didn't have the end product, and cutting inside, he looked a little bit less like comfortable, but he really liked getting on the right, and it felt like I felt really comfortable with him. So it kind of felt a bit like Saka. Obviously, he's not as good, but like had that like kind of piercing zip. Yeah.
I knew he was fast. I didn't know he was that fast.
No.
Because Cauious is quick. Yeah. Like he's quick. He's a solid defender, and he had his number all night.
Yeah.
And it's been such an problem area for Arsenal, that right hand side back up to Saka. We've tried so many players. Tried Martinelli. Ethan's been out there. We've had Trossard out there. Max has been tried. But it's nice to have another option where off the bench someone is going to. If you're tired as a left back, good luck, because you are going to be in for a wild ride with him just constantly going at you. But he looked great. He looked really, really good. I've got no worries in the world that he will be a hit. Yeah. I really do. I think all the the price was obviously a big talking point, but I mean that's the going rate now for any Premier League player. You see some of the prices being thrown out today, and they're mind-boggling. For someone who's Premier League proven, is exactly what we need in terms of skill set and style and directness and pace and everything. So great performance. Looking forward to seeing more of him.
And I have to say, like, I think on the Noni transfer we did, I think we overpaid, and I think that's okay to say. But I think, but actually, if you look at the total or average spend per player. I mean, Gyökeres was 55 million, for example. Zubimendi 60, 65. Can't quite remember that there. I mean, Mosquera 15 million. I like the value for all the players we got for how much we spent is a joke.
I know.
It just so happens that Noni, I think, is the only anomaly that we might have overpaid for.
Yep.
But who knows? You know, for an early 20s English winger, like I guess you are always going to overpay a bit.
For sure.
But I'm looking at transfer window as a whole, and I just, you know, I was on Sky earlier talking about it. Your good friend Dougie, but it was like I think we've got so much value out of it. It just so happens that other teams also have done at the same time. So
there was a list of the top 7, I think, transfers this window, and we weren't on it in terms of player transfers in the Premier League. So the top 7 Premier League transfers this year or this summer, we weren't on that.
Well, we got 3 starters, didn't we? It was Gyökeres, Zubimendi, and who am I missing here? And Eze, yeah. So because I couldn't quite figure out whether to include him in that because we have so much in that position. But after seeing yesterday, I'm like, straight. Yeah, he will start every game
for sure.
I mean, can we talk about Mosquera?
Yeah, of course we can,
mate.
I mean, a regen of Saliba.
Saliba went down in 2 minutes, and obviously that was it. We're thinking, oh my god, here we go again. So Saliba, Havertz, Saka, Ødegaard, White, all out, and that is half of the starting team.
Yeah,
at Anfield. Mosquera, who I forgot was only 20 years old.
Yeah.
Was the most confident man on the pitch.
I know.
And he was stepping in front. He was maintaining a high line. He was his passing, his confidence, playing out from the back. He was good in the air.
He hasn't put a foot wrong.
15 million.
I know. He hasn't put a foot wrong since he's been in every game I've seen him. He's been world class. Not world class, but he has world class potential for sure.
Yeah, well that's it.
But he's been he's just been flawless. That's what I'm going at. He's been amazing.
Mate,
really
Saliba went off the pitch at Anfield in 2 minutes. Didn't think about it once.
Yeah.
That's how good he was. That's the only compliment you can pay him.
I wasn't really that worried as well, because normally we've had injuries in the past where Gabriel went down last year.
Yeah.
Kivior comes on and everyone's like, oh god, that was, this is a bit shaky.
Touch and go. But right, so going back to this, and I'm harbouring the point, I think that is testament to the way we set up. And I think we knew we were going to be cautious and we knew going to be protected generally. And I think obviously it is like, that's where I'm like, okay, well actually that comfort comes from knowing that we are protected in a certain way and Mosquera's quality. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I agree. I would agree with that. I would agree with that.
Well, look, let's a couple more talking points, I think, just to round off before we go into Man of the Match of the Day and, of course, questions.
Yeah.
I thought the Max substitution was really surreal.
Weird. I didn't like it.
I didn't. Don't get me wrong, I love Max. But, I mean, if I'm Nwaneri sitting on the bench there, and don't get me wrong, I know he wants to be used more centrally.
Yeah. How was it? I mean, it was obviously exciting.
Yeah, it's exciting. It was great, but it felt like too much for him.
Yeah, I don't...
Like, what were we planning to...
I don't know why we are leaning on a 15-year-old to get an assist or a goal or create something at Anfield of all places. When you've got Ethan, who has Premier League experience, can score a goal from that right hand side. I don't know why we brought Noni off as well.
No, I don't know. He's playing. Did Trossard come on?
No, so that's another thing.
That is another thing. Like you've got another attacker coming on. Yeah. He's probably one of our best finishers in the team.
And he's
and I just didn't.
He's not ready.
Trossard and Nwaneri are probably our best finishers alongside Gyökeres.
Well, exactly. Max, he's not ready for that sort of game.
Yeah.
Or that environment or scoreline. I think it was a bit naive of Arteta to think that he could do something special.
Yeah, I didn't look if. Yeah, maybe if we were. I don't really think of I can't think of a scenario at Anfield. I just don't think it was fair on him.
No, it's not.
That was like
it's not.
That's the highest pressure that you could give a kid. Like, away at Anfield, live on Sky. I guess you can't really call it a title race now, but just because it's so early. But you know what I mean? It's title contenders going out against each other. And it's their final few minutes, stakes, and you need a goal. It's like, I mean, it's amazing that they trust him. That's great, but there are other seniors in that squad that will be like, "Oh my god, what are we doing?" And hey, look, I'm really, really happy for the kid. He'll have loved that experience.
But it's
and maybe that's what they were trying to do.
But it's not. But it felt more like we're giving him experience as opposed to giving us the best chance of winning the game.
That's exactly.
And that's what I didn't like.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But I mean, I don't know. It was we'll see what happens, because you know what Arteta's like. Once he gets his favourites and thinks that's the right thing to do, he'll keep playing them.
Yeah.
Look at Calafiori now. Case in point.
Yeah, MLS didn't even start, did he?
No, exactly.
I mean, that's it. Look, I'm really, really happy with that bench, and we've got new defender coming in. What's his name again?
Who? Oh, Hincapié.
Look, the depth is unbelievable. I think we're gonna be really strong, and I can't wait. But
it's another left back.
Couple, yeah, I know. Would not be an Arteta window if we didn't sign at least one left back. So, Timber was great.
Ridiculous. Timber was great again.
I thought he was unbelievable.
He's been our player of the season by far so far. I thought, to be honest, him and Calafiori both were amazing.
Yeah. Calafiori,
especially keeping Salah quiet. Even Salah's been off it this year a bit.
Yeah.
But I read a stat that Calafiori had the most amount of shots in the game. Well, for us in the game, tied with Madueke at 3.
Yeah. Wow.
Which is quite weird.
That is really weird.
Yeah.
Go on. Loves it.
Yeah. But I think, as two wing backs, I mean, they're obviously two of the best in the league, if not the world at this point. It's we're very, very lucky to have them. I just fear for touch wood. I fear for the injuries, because Timber looked like he was in a bit of discomfort at the end of the game.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, a little bit.
No,
I haven't heard anything.
Is he going to Holland?
Well, I hope not. But the international break has not been kind to us recently with injuries, and I hope I hope that we can just get through it unscathed, because we've had some pretty crap luck.
Yeah, no, we have
in the past,
and but not as much bad luck as David Raya, unfortunately, with the ball having changed brands. So unfortunately, was misguided.
Yeah,
so.
out of nowhere, the balls have changed brands.
It's silly, isn't it? Like, the Sky interviewer literally asked him. The conversation went. This guy is like, "Have the ball changed, and is it different?" Raya said, "Yes, the ball has changed. It is different." And then suddenly it's viral. Yeah. At no point did he mention that it made any impact to the goal on the day or anything else. He's only conceded one goal all season. He didn't make it. There was no excuse. There was no. Anyway, it was just classic, but it was very funny.
How did you? I mean, we haven't really touched on Gyökeres.
Yeah, I think he's still getting fit. I think he was making good runs and no one was passing. And he's a low touch player, and if he doesn't score, just like Haaland, if he doesn't score, it's likely he'll have a bad game because he didn't do much else. He was very physical, winning a lot of duels, and I think that's really, really valuable. But he's not a playmaker, and he never was going to be. So, that's fine. And you know what? We didn't have the players to play in the ball. It was a Havertz game, I think, that was played by Gyökeres.
Well, that's my issue. Going back to right at the start in terms of style of play and setup, I don't think there's no point. They said on the Arscast, there's no point in having Gyökeres if you're not going to fit his style of play.
Yeah,
because he's not going to play like Havertz. He's not going to come short, link up, play well. He's going to play on the last man. He's going to make the direct runs, and he's going to be playing direct. But if you've got no creativity behind him, he's going to do nothing. He's going to be anonymous the whole game. What are your thoughts on him? First three games.
First 3 games. Look, he's. I think he was unlucky in the first game not to get a few more balls played into him.
Yeah,
he was making all the right runs. I think we basically, as a team, had a shocker.
Yeah,
just in terms of actually being able to kick the ball.
Played awfully.
I mean, he did exactly what we want him to do against Leeds. He scored 2 goals. Great. I think he made some good runs yesterday, and had we just been a bit sharper, there's always the screenshots, but there were genuinely some really good ones slipping in. Martinelli, you've picked up. I think there's a couple of others as well from the right-hand side that he didn't get, and I think there was another one that Ødegaard just missed feeding into him in the last short pass. So he's making the runs, and I think we'll learn to play with him. I have no problem with how he played at all. Actually, I think he did everything we wanted him to do, and he didn't get the service. And I think we're learning. So I think that's more on us. Sorry, us, as if we're the ones to kick the ball. More on the rest of the it's on us.
It's all on podcasters.
I
know.
To
must do better.
The man he can be. We go out there with flags and signs and say,
exactly.
Come on the Gok.
Exactly.
No. What about you? Sounded like you might have a little bit of
I think he's getting used to the system, getting used to the players. I just think we need to given the best chance of scoring, and that is playing balls in behind and having a bit more creativity than we had the other day. But it's going to take some time. He's obviously still getting fit. So, how many goals do you think prediction? How many goals do you think he'll score?
I think he'll score 25. I think he'll be big.
Okay.
Because I think, what do we need? We're fine with big games, generally speaking. We need a flat trap bully.
Yeah.
We need someone who can absolutely dominate the middle order, and in like lower league teams as well. So like that's what we need. I think that's what he'll do really well. And I think he'll do well in big games as well. I think he'll be great. It's just the thing about Gyökeres is that we forget. Liverpool have spent. They've now got 300 million pound signings basically. Because Ekitike was 90, and he's got Havertz.
No, he was a bit lower.
Was he? Okay.
He was like 75.
Okay, fair. Well, still, Gyökeres was a 55 million pound signing, and I think that takes the pressure off a bit. But I just think because Havertz is injured now, he's got to be the main man, and he's our only striker. I think it puts a bit more focus on him when he's just joined. But I would have liked to bet him a bit better. But you know what? I think that low price tag and all things considered it just helps things a little bit.
Sure.
And
for sure.
So yeah. Anything else on the game specifically before we go to the match? Or
anything
I thought
else?
The referee had a good game.
Referee, yeah. We're not talking about him. So that means he's done okay.
Well,
which is positive, given how crap everyone's been in the games around, like VAR and all that. Do you see the games? The games on Saturday were just mad.
Yeah.
The Fulham tackle, especially for Josh Gibb, was just
I don't know how.
Makes you want to launch yourself the TV. But
no, that's what was so refreshing because I just thought there was frustrating times where he didn't give a foul for us, for example, and then Liverpool would get away, but he would do exactly the same back. He really did let physicality sort of go throughout the game. I quite like that.
What about
that was that handball? That wasn't a handball for me. I don't think. Didn't even see that.
No. I mean, it would have. I mean, you've seen them given.
Was it on the arm though?
Yeah, it's probably. So they said it was long throw in, and the rationale I think was this is for Szoboszlai's handball right at the end. They said that he didn't because he was sort of jostling for possession. His arm came up and he didn't have time to see the ball. But there is a part of me that thinks the ball has flown over the top of the group that is sort of jostling in front of him, and he sort of breaks away, and he does have clear sight of the ball. But
it sort of hit him.
Hits him by the elbow.
Really?
So it's not as like. Oh, it's never a pen, as people I think are talking about. This is me slightly clutching at straws.
No, fair.
If you're playing in the Champions League, that is given as a penalty. There's no ifs, buts, or doubts. But I think I can't remember if Neville. Someone has said that they are given, and there was when it happened, and then play restarted, and Liverpool went down the other end. Neville was slightly 50-50 on whether it was going to be called back.
Really?
Yeah. It was a bit touch and go.
Yeah.
It was a bit touch and go. Anyway,
what you're saying? We was robbed.
Pretty much.
We was robbed.
Yeah. Let's actually. Yeah. Now, the referee's
now
had a shocker.
You say it out
yeah,
loud.
he's had a shocker. I'm clutching at straws. But I was going to ask chances from open play.
Oh man, yeah.
A bit worried or calm?
I mean, we've scored. Before this game, we scored 6 goals and
3 of them come from corners.
None. Yeah.
Well, 2.5.
One was penalty, wasn't it? So.
Oh yeah. So what? So if we have 4 set piece goals.
So you say it like that, yeah. Well, I guess it's a good point, and I think we haven't really. Yeah, it's a good point. I haven't really thought about that actually. Yeah, that is actually a really good point. I mean, look, you can only take every game in its context, right?
Yeah.
So yesterday I wasn't too worried, but things like, for example, like Eze's through on goalness, it wouldn't have been. Doesn't count because he didn't get a shot away.
Yeah.
There are times yesterday where like Martinelli didn't get the pass in and stuff where Eze would be there in so it's kind of like I would be more worried if we weren't getting to the spaces where we could facilitate an open play chance. Yeah. The amount of space we ran into at Old Trafford, scoring 5 goals last week and seeing so many different occasions where we could have slipped the ball through or could have actually had a shot.
But that was playing against teams that don't play the low block. Leeds didn't play well, but their defending was awful.
True. We haven't played one then.
Because that's the issue, is that we are now going to go into a Nottingham Forest who will be very good structurally, and it's going to be super interesting to see how we play against them. But because we've got them, City, and then Newcastle, and I think maybe with someone in between.
I get hard to know until we come against them. so early in the season, isn't it? Like, I can't judge a low block until that. And you know what? There's a few things I'm looking for Arteta to improve this year, and he spent the money to do it. Are we beating low blocks more comfortably? Which is, by the way, that's really hard, and not many teams can do that.
No,
but that's something we need to be able to do. Is he making better decisions at substitutions early enough?
Yeah.
Until yesterday, I think he was doing that. But yesterday, it was just 15 minutes too late. And then obviously rotation as well. So I think all three of those things are quite hard to tell if we're better at yet. But it's so many new players.
True, but we won't see. If we're not creating these chances from open play in games where there is so much space, it's going to be, as I say, it's going to be interesting to see how we do it.
2-2 Rory.
Love it.
Right. Who was your man of the match?
Man of the match was from us.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Cauious.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Good. I think he was just, so good in terms of keeping Salah quiet, doing all the right things, popping up, was an attacking threat. Really, really strong start to the season.
What a player.
What a player.
Fair play. I shout out to Declan Rice. I thought he was world class. I think he was everywhere.
Yeah.
He was the confidence that he sort of instilled in.
He didn't
in
pop
us.
out at me, I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, fair. I mean, maybe it was just that's such a dickhead thing to say, but maybe it's just because I was there and you kind of has a feeling. And there's confidence in him striking the ball when people were quite nervous at the back at points. But I am going to go Jurgen Timber. I thought he was just unbelievable. I thought he was everywhere and he just set the tone. I thought he was great. So, do you have a dick of the day for me, Rory?
Dick of the day. I haven't really thought about it. I think Dick of the day probably as a collective is just VAR.
Okay, yeah, fair.
I think just the amount of crap and shite we've had to watch.
No, and not in our game, but in the Chelsea.
Not in our game. Not in our game.
And
yeah, exactly. Just so much, just bollocks flying around, and it just seems like every week we're now we're worried about someone else who's not on the field affecting the game and making them making a mistake or them just doing something so stupid or blatantly obvious that that determines the result. So yeah, VAR. Who's yours? Do you have one?
Well, I wish I had VAR for mine actually, because it's one of two culprits, but I think it's I'm going to give it to one of two horses.
Okay.
There were police horses at Anfield, and I assessed my situation, and I had a clear road that I could walk into. I look up for 2 seconds, and suddenly I stood in some horse poo.
Nice.
It was one of the two horses. I literally had seen which one I could give Dick of the Day to, but it was definitely one of them. I'm going to go both.
Was it before or after the game?
Before the game.
Right.
So it was nice and fresh.
Nice.
Shout out to the Liverpudlian horse.
Yeah. You didn't try and punch it, did you?
No. I decided, Although there was no VAR, so I think I could have absolutely
you could have
just absolutely nutted the horse. That would have gone down very well, I imagine. That would be quite painful, I imagine.
Well, we can ask the bloke who we can maybe do a call in with the bloke who did try and punch a horse and see how it felt, because
How would you do it? Would you?
I'm not sure.
Where would you punch a horse in the face if you had to?
I don't really know.
Would you go teeth, or would you sort of go side?
I think
between the eyes.
I think you just bop it on the nose. That's the softest. Otherwise, I think you'd break your hand.
Yeah. Who's the left back we had? Who was an absolute head case?
Kolasinac.
Yeah. I bet he's punched a horse.
Yeah, he looks like one. He looks like he has.
Let's do some questions.
Yeah.
So Cather.Fair has asked, do you think the hesitant way of playing was only because we played at Anfield, or is it general?
Say it again.
I think so. Sorry, Cather.Fair has said, do you think the hesitant way of playing was only because we played at Anfield, or is this general? I think we've addressed this quite a lot.
No, sorry, it's Anfield for sure, because
Anfield,
we're not going to see a midfield of Marino, Zubimendi, and Rice next weekend at home.
No,
or in 2 weeks' time, fucking international break. So I think it will loosen up. We have to, because we have to play to Gyökeres' style if he's going to be effective, which is more direct.
Yeah,
and Eze will help for sure. Odegaard will help that, and Anfield is probably the hardest place you can go to for us historically. So it's just one game.
I think it's just one game.
I hope so. We might see Marino line up line up for the rest of the season.
The question's hesitant. I don't think we were hesitant at all. I think we were incredibly deliberate in what we were doing.
Yeah, but I think he means leaving the handbrake on.
Yeah, leaving the handbrake on. And I think I would worry if it is not just that, but I think generally, and Zunny B 231123 has asked, why is Arteta so negative against the big six away from home? And I think we've kind of answered that quite a lot, to be fair. Generally, I think that is something that, it's a good question. It is something that I do think about, but generally speaking, get pretty good results from it. So
yeah, and I don't think, if this game was a week later, we'd see Eze in the starting lineup. I think.
Couldn't agree more. So, yeah. I mean, and then sort of something we haven't really spoken about, but within the same bracket is Bowen _ Einstein. Says, what is Marino's role this season? And I think that is really interesting. That's
a really good question.
Because to be honest, last week I was like, I don't know where he gets in the squad.
Yeah.
Not that he's bad, but like, we've got so many players now. And in that left eight, we've got Rice, Nwaneri, Eze. And I'm like, I can't.
Trossard can play there.
And don't get me wrong, I think Marino's great. Havertz, it's a fully loaded position. So where do you see his role?
For me, I see him as like a kind of Edu type player. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, someone who's really solid, unbelievable squad player. I think he's really well liked in the squad.
Yeah, that's true.
He can come on when we need to make a change, but we also, we won't skip a beat in terms of how we're playing, depending on whether he plays in that left eight. But he can obviously finish now. Great header of the ball, so it's great if you're either if you're 1-0 up or 1-0 down, and you need to see out a game or 0-0 or whatever, and you're defending corners or set pieces. It's a bit of a strange one because we are loaded in midfield now, and we forget Norgaard's coming back as well.
God, yeah,
so exactly, so we have a lot of players in his positions. How old is he now? 30.
Marino, 31 maybe?
I think he's 29 or 30.
29, okay.
So he doesn't have much left in the tank, but I think that if he's happy being a squad player,
I think he will be.
Then I've got no issue keeping him around because he's also he pops up in
he's a good finisher.
When big games he pops up. I mean, look at like what happened in Spain.
He scored
for the Euros.
Yeah.
Scored against Madrid.
Liverpool last
year in against I can't remember who it was against one of the teams that got relegated last year when we were
Leicester
twice. Exactly, popped up there. So he can do it in the big moments when we need him to.
Just put him up top.
Exactly. And also the problem is now if Gyökeres goes down, he's our striker.
Well, you look at that position and you'd think maybe Trossard, Martinelli would have a shout.
I wouldn't be surprised to see Marino up there.
I basically think you're right because it happened in pre-season.
Exactly.
He did play there.
Exactly.
So.
And if he's such a hybrid player. He can play so many positions.
Versatility, right? I think that's something that he brings.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see him right back at some point. If we had a
He's going in goal.
I really mean this. I wouldn't be surprised if we have a major injury crisis. He can play that Partey role at right back, and I think he'd do a great job.
Yeah.
I think he'd be absolutely fine.
I think he is one of those players that is just very talented and could play anywhere.
Yeah, he's so clever.
And that's it. And I think there's value, and that's why I don't mind him starting yesterday.
No,
don't get me wrong. I don't think he was amazing. I don't think he was bad.
No,
I think it was just the fact that it was a defensive position in theory.
He's not going to, in the position he was playing in midfield, he's not going to win you the game, but he's also, I don't think, going to lose you the game.
No, for sure.
But he's obviously been playing the past 6 months up top. He hasn't played that much in midfield for us. He really hasn't. So he's still probably, to a certain degree, still, getting used to the system.
Yeah.
He's obviously done it a lot in training, but in a game situation, I would love to know how many games he's played, in midfield for us.
That's a good point. I do actually. I don't really remember that many amazing performances from midfield. Like he's pretty good
in midfield. No,
when he plays 9, and again, this could be a whole podcast in itself. But I do the only niggling worry I have about Gyökeres, and it won't be because of him, but it's just like we are so used to playing with really creative or involved or midfieldery or like wingery forwards that we're just like not ready to see what a complete opposite of that is. And the good thing, the reason why Marino can play 9 for us is because he does come, naturally he's a bit more of a ball player and comes deep and he's very physical, so he can, get on the end of things too. So, I'd be very curious. I'd also be really curious what happens when Jesus gets back.
I think there's a role for him as well.
Could you imagine if we got the old Jesus back?
I think there is a role for him for sure.
Yeah.
And we don't have to rush him forward at this point, which we did last time.
Yeah.
And it killed him.
Absolutely.
So, I mean, there aren't many. We don't have many players in this. Well, we do slightly now, but Jesus, the skills that Jesus has, and the experience, there aren't many players around who have done it. At the level he's done it before and won the trophies. Well, won the trophies that he's won.
He's won 3 titles as a 9.
Well, exactly. So his his movement, his finishings, it was amazing. It's gone off a little bit, but if he can build up confidence in his legs again, he's still young.
Let's look forward.
Yep. Let's do it.
So I'm hoping by the next time that we speak on the podcast that Eberici Eze will not be injured on his England duty. I assume he got into the England squad. Yeah,
he did. Yeah.
So we've got Forest, and just off the back of we're at home.
Yep.
12:30 kickoff. What are we doing?
As in lineup.
Yeah.
We are keeping. Well, depending on. I mean, Saliba, I heard he rolled his ankle or something.
Let's assume he's injured for the sake of conversation, but I think that's a pretty easy.
Raya, Timber, Gabriel Mascara, Calafiori, Zubimendi, Rice, Odegaard, Eze on the left, Noni on the right, Gyökeres up top.
So it's the same as me. It's just a straight swap out for
Odegaard,
Odegaard and
Marino
and
Martinelli.
Yeah, and if Saliba's injured or not, then we'll see. But yeah, I do exactly the same, and I would be minded to maybe. Would I do this? You know what? I just want like really creative 8s, and like I wonder if this is a game where you'd sit as Zubimendi or Rice and just like I wouldn't not in.
I've got too much.
I don't know.
I've got too much PTSD after when we did it against Villa 2 years ago. A year ago when we played Havertz. When we were in the running, we played Havertz in midfield, and we just got overrun and then lost the game 2-0.
I'd like to get. You're right. The only reason I say that is because I'm kind of long term thinking of rotation and just protecting those 2 players, and the fact that I'd like to see an Ethan or Odegaard or an Eze and Odegaard.
That's a good point, actually.
I just like get a really creative double 8 situation.
We'll have Olympiacos soon.
Well, so that week we've got on Saturday we've got Forest. Then we're away to Athletic Club, and then we're back at home for City. So, it's a big week.
Yeah, it's a great shout.
And we've got to get used to this, and I'd like to see it, but let's just get a win on the board, and let's see. So
maybe we do rotate then. Maybe Norgard will come back. Maybe play
Norgard.
What?
He's been injured. I just want to see that. I would love us to just go and just get our first team out now that Eze's in, and just go
gel.
Let's just get this
mesh.
Let's get a foot on the hold there. Yep. So. But look, there isn't an Arsenal game next week, but we will be doing a podcast. What that will look like is TBC.
Yeah, we can discuss. Whether the pressure is off now that Liverpool have spent nearly $500 million this summer.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? Like, I completely understand why people say there's no excuse for us now. Where I don't like is like the nuance between it, because I don't think there's any excuse not to win something. And if that is a cup, that's a cup. Sure. But and I think that's fair. But you've had the champions
of England just go out and have the best summer of all time.
$500 million on there. They've just, it's ridiculous.
Well, I don't think it's quite $500 million, but it's near enough.
It is.
It's not far off. I mean, I mean, what can you say? What can you say? Especially if they're going to get Gahey.
Is Gahey going through?
I really hope not. That would be.
Sambi's gone.
That would be.
10 million.
10 million.
Well, what's Sterling doing? Oh, we could do this for hours. Chelsea unable to secure Raheem Sterling loan move before deadline, so they're stuck on $350K a week.
Has cheers. Has Isak were number 9. Where's Lukonga gone?
Hamburg.
Did you say 10 million?
10 million, I think.
Surely not.
That's bad, isn't it? Let's have a look.
I mean, no, as in, like, that's good, man. I thought we'd much less than that.
Oh. Yeah, I think it is 10 million. Oh, well, there you go.
That's not bad.
Well, look, let's wrap this up. We could waffle all day and talk about transfers, and to be honest, by the time this goes out, it'll all be old anyway. So, anything else to add, Rory?
Yeah, should we do a quick team rating?
Rating, what?
In 2 minutes. Arsenal team rating, so I did Raya.
Bosh, 9, fine.
Okay,
yeah, no,
Timber?
Yeah, I've forgotten too earlier.
Yeah, you have. Do you want to also...
Yeah, let's start again.
Fine,
Okay, Raya 7, because he didn't have too much to do, and
fine.
he was good.
Timber?
9.
Gabriel?
8.
Mascara?
9.
Okay. Calafiori?
9. I think they all had a really good game at the back.
Zubimendi?
7.5.
Okay. Rice?
8.
Marino?
Marino, 7.
Madueke?
8. This actually, I can't. No goal and assist. I can't give an 8. I'll go 7.5.
Okay. Martinelli?
Martinelli. I don't want to be so high. I mean, 4.
Fine. Gyökeres?
5.
Eze off the bench?
Oh, mate. 8.
Fine.
Yeah. He was
Odegaard?
That's 7.
Okay. And then Max, I think.
Max
came on.
He was okay. He's okay.
Did well.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's interesting. Would you have changed anything there? Just, we've got 30 seconds. 20 seconds. Is there anything obscenely wrong?
No, I think I think you're fine.
Okay, great. I'm a genius, is what you're saying.
Happy days, yeah.
But look, cheers, Rory. Thanks so much for coming. Thanks everyone for listening.
Thanks, mate.
Much appreciated. We'll be back next week at the same time. No idea what we're going to be doing yet, as there's no game, but trust me, it will be fun, it will be fruity, and it will be everything in between. So thank you so much, everybody. Peace out, enjoy the week, and see you later.